For the past 3 years, I had the privilege to work at New City Church, a church in downtown Phoenix, and I got to work with students there that were 5th grade to 12th grade, and it was a huge formational blessing in my life. But I want to be true to who God's asking me to become. I feel like that should be the heart and desire of everyone after God's heart, is to become who God's asking them to be. And God had always put this heart for justice and the marginalized within me. And so when this opportunity came up, I talked with New City about it and said, I feel like God's calling me to be in this space over here at Neighborhood Ministries. And they believed in what God was telling me. They believed in my vision and my heart and said, we'll send you out as a missionary. And they were kind enough to support my salary for the month of February, giving me time to fundraise to be in the position starting in March at Neighborhood Ministries. I'm kind of leaving a place and space of comfort and at New City, where it was definitely like a secure salary. It was work I was easy and good at for me. And so there's kind of a little bit of a sacrifice that I'm making, being in this space at Neighborhood Ministries and some of the risk that I'll be taking. But I believe that sacrifice is more about what you're gonna gain instead of what you'll be losing. And I think that there's going to be so much that would be gained and how the youth would be blessed here. The youth at Neighborhood Ministries is also 8th grade to college students, so it's an older demographic I'll be working with as well. So I'll be moving into the spiritual development and mentorship coordinator position. And so I'll be leading the different programs and classes that deal with the spiritual development of the youth, and I'll be creating a mentorship program alongside with the director. We'll be planning to put together a mentorship curriculum where students will have one-on-one mentorship, and that will deal with their holistic growth, their physical, emotional, mental, spiritual growth, and find mentors for them to help facilitate that. I think a lot of times, and I say this frequently to friends, is that we talk about what we're being saved from a lot, like hell and all that stuff, but we don't talk about what we're being saved for. Part of the good news and our being part of the kingdom is what we're being saved for. And what we're being saved for is to continue the mission God's always had for us, which is to be flourishing human beings, to be a blessing to others. That God's blessed us all in a way so that we can be a blessing to others. The blessing isn't even for ourselves at the end of the day. The story that I've had and the story that God's been writing for my life, and the honor I've had to study criminal justice criminology at ASU, to study nonprofit management, and to currently be in seminary to study missional theology, that all that stuff God's blessed me, and the information, the experience He's blessed me with, He's now asking me, I want you to use that to be a blessing to those in South Central Phoenix, so that they can flourish, and so that they can be a blessing to their friends, to their schools, and to their families. I think that's the call of every Christian believer, is to see how they can bring in the kingdom in their pocket of the earth. That's really how I view the gospel, the good news, is that the kingdom of God is here. That it's not fully yet restored, but we're witnesses. It's like when you watch a movie, right? It's like you're the trailer of the real thing. I'm excited to be in the space of the Swain Oath Youth Center and Neighborhood Ministries, the Dream Youth Center. It is such a privilege, and my privilege, to be working with these kids and be working with these demographic of students, and it coincides, I believe, with the story that God is writing for me. It would be a dream for me to, in the future, to continue to do this work and plant different neighborhood ministry-like organizations across the country. And so this is like the beginning of that chapter for me. And so part of the uncomfortability of this for me, but I believe it'll be a good skill asset, is to raise support, is to ask people like you who are watching this to partner with me and to raising support, to be a blessing to the youth. Like I had mentioned before, as part of the gospel, I believe that all of us have been blessed with something, with these gifts, these talents, skills, money, resources. And so I ask you guys, whatever God's blessed you with, to partner with me to be a blessing. That God may have blessed you with the desire to pray. He may have blessed you with different resources or a gift of encouragement. To find ways you can partner with me to bless me in that way, so we can bless the students and the youth here who are underserved together in South Central Phoenix. As I mentioned in the video, I look forward to be able to bless the youth and the families that are in Neighborhood, to bless them with the different skill sets and abilities that I've gained and God's taught me throughout my life journey. The ability to gather young people into community into a safe space, an environment where they can be vulnerable with one another that allows them to flourish, to teach them, to give them the why behind what it is they want to do in life, the why behind the career they decide, the passion that they have, to give them that why, and then to offer soul care, to give them care for their souls through my spiritual guidance for them. And so I'm excited to be able to bless the youth that way. However, I'm not alone in doing this. God has been at Neighborhood Ministries doing the work way before me getting there right now. And it's been able to bless so many families. I'm excited to partner with the people that God's placed there at Neighborhood Ministries. And so I wanted to introduce you all to Tania Lopez. She's the youth director at the Sway Notes Youth Center where I'll be working at Neighborhood Ministries. Tania has quickly kind of become not just a co-worker and someone to report to, but a good friend of mine as well. And so you guys will get to hear a little bit about who she is and her heart as well for Neighborhood Ministries. I'll go ahead and throw it to you, Tania.
Well, I have very little to add. You guys are all here for Kendall, so I'm gonna not take that much time, but as Kendall said, my name is Tania Lopez. I'm the Sueños Youth Center director. And one of the first things that I started working on as I transitioned into the position was my dream team. And the one thing that I had the most need for was my spiritual person, my spiritual leader. And so I met Kendall. We had a great conversation. I was wowed by his experience, his views. We matched quite a bit on what we both want for the youth, how we want to support them, how do we want to create this safe space. And I wanted Kendall. I was like, let's do this. So he's been very patient with me. We just dedicating himself already with the youth and making those connections. So I'm just very happy to be here. Thank you for giving me this space. And thank you all, because your support to Kendall is really support for the center itself and for all the youth here in Neighborhood Ministries. So that's my spill. And thank you all. And I'm so happy to have you, Kendall. I can't wait. I just can't wait for Monday.
Kit is so Tania is so awesome. You guys will learn who Kit is in a little bit, but Tania is so awesome. Like she said, our connection is the reason why I'm here today talking with you all and why you guys are here as well. And I want to give a shout out to everyone that's with Neighborhood Ministries. There's a few staff members who are on this call as well. And so I want to give them a shout out for allowing me to come to this space, and you guys have welcomed me so well in the different parts that you guys have played and allowing me to come on staff as well. But I would like to give a special shout out to Kit Danley, who's the CEO, the head of Neighborhood Ministries. She'll probably talk a little bit about maybe its history too and her passion. But Kit, I would say she's like the Mother Teresa of Phoenix, Arizona. She loves on people so well, and she loves on specifically the poor and others so well. She's become a mother to so many people in Phoenix, and it's an honor to be under her leadership. And so I'll allow her to speak a little bit.
Thank you, Kendall. And so grateful you're all here. Look at the love in this room. You love your brother. And some of you have, he's your literal brother, I've come to realize. And I'm so grateful to see you, to know you, and looking forward to the journeying that you're all going to do with us, and not just Kendall and Aaron. So just a few quick thoughts. One is Neighborhood Ministries in just a short while is going to be 40 years old. So we've been around the block for a bit. And since I'm the founder, I've been around the block for a bit. And as I've been thinking about Kendall, in fact, I thought of him today. We've been looking for a little girl, 13. She ran away from home. And a lot of stressors in her life, a lot of pain. And my adopted daughter actually went on the hunt for this little girl and found her mom, and then was journeying alongside her today as we figured out where she was, and they were able to figure out where she was. And I thought about the world that Kendall's entering. In fact, I pictured him a lot these last couple of days as we went hunting for this little girl. She was in a very gross and very horrible situation. Not any details that I'll share today, but his work that God has placed in front of him is more than just doing a worship service once a week for our youth. It will be actually being in the trenches alongside some really painful stories, all the while longing for God to use him to be the hands and feet of Jesus in homes. I could picture today Kendall in that home praying with that mom. I know this mom really well, known her for a while. Her baby girl, who's now 10, has had a brain. This is not the one that ran away. This is the other child. Has had a brain tumor since she was 3. And God has blessed his family. Actually, I think she might be already 11. And how she's surviving, and she's currently having some setbacks. So that's just one family story. Here at Neighborhood Ministries, we have thousands of those stories. And sometimes people will be gone for us for a little while, and then they'll come back. And they'll come back because they need to know that church, everything we do, we have 27 programs and 8 acres and all kinds of stuff going on here at Neighborhood because we've been around for a while. But everybody calls this place church. It's like a nickname, which is a wonderful nickname to have when you do basketball and early childhood education, and you have a medical clinic and a soccer field and a youth center like you're hearing about, and all of the other countless things we do. But it's always church. I needed to come back to church. And so you know Kendall well, and you know his heart, and you know the calling on his life. And you know this is where he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be on the front lines of waiting for that next one to come home, or on the streets looking for this little 13-year-old who's run away from home, or whatever our realities are at the time. The last thing I'll say is it's not just rescuing the lost, which is so dear and precious to the heart of God. It's growing up the next generation of leaders for Phoenix, for Arizona, for the nation. When we began to envision the youth center, that's the part of Neighborhood Ministries that Kendall will be in, and a drop-in center that's open every day after school, and Tania and Kendall and the team will be doing all these marvelous things with youth every day. It's so that we're actively, aggressively, intentionally birthing these next generation leaders for our city and for our state. And we know that that's possible because it's been going on here at Neighborhood for years. And some of these, for example, yesterday I was praying in the Senate, our Arizona Senate at the legislature, and who I was invited by was a young man that grew up at Neighborhood. He's now one of our state senators. And it was a privilege to be there, but always a privilege actually to watch Tony continue to influence the direction of our state. So that's the world that Kendall's going to be in. And God has prepared him for this. This is where he belongs. And Tania, when she longed for the right person in the spiritual directorship role at the youth center, when she met Kendall, she said, that's it. He's the one. So what we're here tonight to do is to make that possible. And so we're just so thankful you're here, and we believe in you, Kendall, and we believe that God's hand is on your life, and we're so grateful you've come here.
Thank you so much, Kit. You were, again, such a blessing to me, to so many others I know in Phoenix, and I know to even so many others nationally as well. And so thank you for the work that you do. I'm excited. I believe that I'm being obedient to God and him calling me into a space like this, the space that Kit just mentioned, into Neighborhood. I believe that Neighborhood is the right space for me to really exercise my skills, abilities, and the passionate things that God's put in me. I'm excited to finally really be in the space. There's been a lot of life that's been happening to me recently and lately. Some of you guys know I've started dating Erin Lashley, who's on this call, who she's blocking her face right now from the screen. But we had started dating. She's a pastor at a church in downtown Phoenix called Kaleo, and she started pastoring there this year in January. So I'm excited for all the work that she's gonna do
that God's going to do through her. But it makes me think that I truly believe that God is doing something in Central Phoenix, in downtown Phoenix. And I mean, I know that both Aaron and I, we're grateful to be a part of whatever he's doing here. And I believe he's specifically doing something for the under-resourced and for those who are in the margins of society right now. And so I'm excited that Aaron and I can partner with God to do that in Phoenix. A little bit else about Aaron is I think as Aaron's gotten to know me a little bit, she knows that sometimes I can be a bit of a perfectionist. Sometimes with the words I say or things I do, that I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I remember when I first met Aaron, before we started dating, I asked her to help me film something for a project I was doing and something for ministry. And as she was helping me, I kept on, I was like, let's reshoot this, let's do that. I kept changing things. And she was like, you just gotta do one take and then just be done with it and let it move on. And she had said, people like to see something on the journey of it being good. People don't like to see the first product perfect. It doesn't need to be great, but it's on the journey of being something good. And people get to watch that as you put out different stuff. And so I ask you all to partner with me on the journey of me being something good, to partner with me on my journey of being something good for the community, perhaps even nationally one day, of being a pillar to the community here in Phoenix, to being a pillar for so many youth that are in Phoenix as well. And so I ask you guys to partner with me in that way on my journey to being someone impactful here in Phoenix, Arizona. And so I ask you guys to join my team. I'm halfway of my goal of what I'm wanting to reach of $4,000 a month. And all I need is 4 people willing to do $250 a month. I think it's on the screen there that kind of breaks it down, but it's 4 people to do $250 a month. And then also perhaps 20 people to do $50 a month. And so I know there's 30 people or so on this call. And so we had 20 or so people to give $50 a month and 4 people give $250 a month. I'd be at my goal. Part of my heart too is to normalize giving like this. I think we're so quick sometimes to subscribe to whatever Netflix or things that are come out, which is good and beneficial. But subscribing, right, to make a difference in someone's life and to make a long-lasting difference in someone's life goes way further. And so I thank you guys for joining tonight. A link will be sent to you guys in the group chat that you guys can click, and it will allow you to give. If you guys have any questions, don't reach out to call me. I'll have Aaron fill my phone number in the chat as well. And so if you guys want to text or call me if you don't already have my number to hear personally a little bit more of what's going on. But the link's right there for you guys to give. And again, all you need is 4 people willing to do $250 a month, and then 20 who's willing to do $50 a month to subscribe to make a difference in the lives of so many people. Thank you guys again for joining tonight. It was so good seeing so much of you. Stuff like this gives me so much life, seeing my worlds collide in different ways, and people from out east getting to meet some people in Phoenix that have become close to me. And then obviously my family being able to join as well. And so I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. And so that's it that we all have for today. Jacob, I will send you a gift card for winning our game that we played at the beginning. And then if you guys see the link in the chat, you guys can click there to give as well. Thank you guys so much. Have an amazing rest of your evening. God bless. Love you guys.